Good morning. Hello. Thank you for tuning in with me this morning. If you are watching on the replay, do give me a hashtag replay in the comments. Let me know that you are here so that I can hop back and say hello to you at a later date. And if you are hopping on live as well, do give me a hello. Do let me know that you are here. It is always much better if I know who is on and I can answer your questions and all those things. So hello Yo-Yo7DS, thank you for tuning in. Hello Perkins and Morley, thank you for joining me. Hello Ezra, hello Chihansivid, can't pronounce you, sorry. Hello Sarah X10, thank you for tuning in, thank you for joining me everybody. I do appreciate you hopping on. So this session is all about UK business and coronavirus, giving you the various updates that have been happening over the last few days, over the weekend. So thank you for hopping on and joining me. For those of you who do not know me, if you do not know who I am, my name is Annette Ferguson. I am CEO of Annette & Co, UK-based accounting firm. I am a chartered accountant and certified profit first professional, and I help businesses take home lots more money for their families to enjoy, so making businesses more profitable. Now, of course, at the present time, that can be incredibly challenging, particularly if you have suffered a big drop in revenue. And that is why I wanted to share with you daily the updates that are applicable to you. Oh, Barry is saying we have a sound issue. Does anyone else have a sound issue? It looks like it's okay here at my end. So let me know if you have a sound issue, if the sound is not coming through. Of course, you can't hear me asking, let me know if the sound is a problem. But if you, if you can hear me, okay, do let me know in the comments. TikTok and Instagram are using different systems. But if you are on Facebook or YouTube or within the Uncover Wealth community or on Periscope and you can hear me, please do let me know. Barry is saying still no sound. Oh, I'm getting okay into the Uncover Wealth community, and that's the same feed though, Barry. So it might be an issue on your device or on your system. Have a look at that because the same feed is going in and I can hear other people saying that they can hear. So that's okay, Jessica. I'm not sure what you're referring to on TikTok, but thank you for your views nonetheless. This is the UK business and coronavirus update, so I'm not quite sure how you view that as a scam, but anyway, thank you for your opinion. So give me a hello in the comments. If you are tuning in, do let me know that you are here. Thank you, Heartfruit. I agree, huh? So let me know that you are here. Mirena, thank you so much for joining me as well. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Armel. Thank you, Beth. Thank you so much for tuning in. Beth is saying, super interested in your thoughts on how business will move after lockdown. This is exactly what I speak about pretty much every day on here, Bethan. So you are in the right place. Barry, it seems like you are the only one with sound issues. I'm sorry. I know you keep saying that you can't hear anything, but it seems like other people can, unfortunately. So it seems like that may be an issue at your end on that. So apologies for that, Barry, but maybe, try restarting your device, sorting the volume button, or going onto a different platform might be helpful for you. So give that a go and see if that works for you. Sound on now. Good, Barry. I'm glad that you can hear. So first off, I'm going to cover off, there was a survey that has found that over 1/5 of UK employers plan to make redundancies over the next 3 months. Many more are avoiding at the moment by freezing or cutting pay, stopping hiring, and of course, furlough. This was published by the CIPD. They are saying that hiring intentions are lower than at least the last 15 years. And the chief economist for the Bank of England has said the UK is heading towards 1980s levels of unemployment. There are calls for more support schemes for jobs. We will officially hear what the unemployment stats are on Tuesday. But of course, those stats will exclude those 7.5 million people who are currently furloughed and also 1 million self-employed people who are now claiming grants from the government. So even with those unemployment figures, we can assume that things will get much worse once those systems end and those people then have no fallback and no support mechanism. So that's going to be a real issue. It's estimated that a third to a half of the workforce are actually technically unemployed, underemployed, or working shorter hours as a result. This is going to have, of course, a massive impact on our entire economy. It's going to have an impact on the welfare system. It's going to have an impact on people's purchasing powers, and therefore it will impact many businesses as a result of that in itself. So we are going to find that we are going to be impacted in whichever area we are in as a result of this. So it is something to really make sure that we bear in mind as we are thinking about our business and its strategy, and particularly our business strategy as we are in a recession. The Chancellor, of course, said last week that we were in recession. Of course, officially, that does not happen until we have 2 quarters of downturn in the UK. However, Q1 was already there with only a week or so at the end of March being in lockdown, and therefore it is very easy to extrapolate that and assume that Q2 will also be in recession, a recessionary period, and therefore we are officially in recession. So let's have a look. Bethan is saying she's self-employed and just started to outsource some work, may have to let them go. Exactly, Bethan, that is going to be the case for many people, is they're going to be reviewing their business and how it's set up and what they can do. So whether that is that you have employees or whether you have outsourced pieces of work to other contractors, self-employed people, or freelancers, there's going to be a big review for many businesses over who they are working with, what that looks like, and if that's able to support them going forward. So we are going to see some issues there, absolutely, Bethan. Okay, so we are also hearing that a third of UK adults are anxious about their finances at the moment. This is, of course, the start of Mental Health Awareness Week, and a third of adults now feeling some level of anxiety over finances. Of course, this is in part from what I have just spoken about the issues of reduced pay, cut hours, unemployment, the message that people who are on furlough are potentially the hidden unemployed, and as support reduces and comes down, we may potentially see another spike in unemployment. We're already seeing people having been laid off as well, with a massive increase in the number of people claiming universal credits. And then the question is, even with those who are self-employed currently, who have just received their grants, many of them, they are, of course, now some of them are, feeling a little bit better that they have some money in their bank accounts. But the question is, are they able to sustain their business over this time period for exactly the type of thing you were speaking about, where we were saying that people will be reviewing how they interact with people, what their team looks like, all those kinds of things. So incredibly important to understand what that might mean for your business as well. Like I say, understandably, we have now a third of UK adults feeling some level of anxiety over their finances. Excuse me. His Cox are facing mix up my words. His Cox are facing legal action as companies pursue pandemic payouts. Of course, I've spoken over the last few weeks about this issue that insurers were not paying out on business interruption insurance, and that the FCA had already said that they wanted to put before the courts a number of commonly used terms. There's been a number of action groups being set up to start action against the various insurers. The Hiscox Action Group has been given the go-ahead by lawyers and funders to start legal action. Their aim is to secure a £40 million worth of payouts for companies who have had business interruption insurance policies with them. And they are saying it is, however, going to be a race against time because businesses are struggling every day. And this insurance was in place to help situations exactly like this, where they were not able to trade. And this is a real problem, that nothing's been paid out, or very little has been paid out under these insurance policies. Now, of course, the insurers are saying, well, when they wrote the policies, at no point could they have predicted that worldwide there would be claims on that clause. And that is a massive, massive financial problem for the insurers, who are now saying this will bankrupt us if we pay out on this clause. So there's a big, big problem there with the insurance side of things, and what that actually means in the long term for businesses and for the insurers themselves as well. Thank you for everyone who's hopping on. I do very, very much appreciate you joining. So thank you so much for tuning in and joining me. For those of you that are unaware, we are talking about UK business and coronavirus updates. I typically share all things around the government, the economy, the banks, etc., etc. So that is what we are discussing today. Thank you so much for everyone who is joining on. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So let's see if we've got any questions, any comments. Annie is saying business interruption insurance had terms that no one had yet qualified for. Yeah, exactly, Annie. There's a lot of problems with these policies, and that is one reason as well why the FCA wants to take a claim as well with to the courts with commonly used policy names as well, because of course we couldn't have predicted this type of situation. We couldn't have predicted a worldwide pandemic that had forced the vast, vast majority of businesses worldwide to suddenly stop trading and have their business interrupted in quite the way it has done. So let's have a look and see if we have any other questions coming through. Of course, if you have any questions, please do ask in the comments. I am more than happy to answer any of those that come in. Let's see. Okay, good. I think I have all the questions that we have in so far, but please do ask any that you may have yourself. Even before this crisis began, businesses had started taking on unprecedented levels of debt. And of course, we know with the bounce back loans and the CBILS loans, that is continuing to happen. Businesses are starting to take on more debt as well. It has been said that there will be an inevitable flood of bankruptcies as a result of this crisis, as a result of this situation. A UK survey has found that half of all UK businesses don't have enough cash reserves to last them 6 months or longer. And of course, we wait to see exactly what will happen as we come out of lockdown, if we are able to open all doors again, or if we'll end up going back down into lockdown. We have no idea at the moment what will happen with that. Of course, the plan that has been announced is to start getting everything back up and running and to be pretty much fully operational by July time. Whether or not that will be doable, we don't know at this point in time. But that would be a 4 months potentially of lockdown, and many businesses just don't have the cash to sustain that. There are calls to reform the bankruptcy proceedings in the UK, similar to a US Chapter 11 style system, which gives protection from creditors whilst helping a company restructure. So that is undergoing, and there's chats around that as well. Bethan is saying, I haven't qualified for any support as of yet. What do you think of the gaps in the government's solution? Unfortunately, Bethan, there are many people who have not qualified for any support at all. It is, of course, very, very challenging for businesses that are in that position. That is something that we do recognise is going to be a big, big issue. It's difficult because, of course, the government just don't have. I mean, I say they don't have an unlimited pot of money. It feels like they kind of do at the moment, but they are already going to be an estimated cost of about £1 trillion to the economy. And it becomes very tricky in situations where some people have fallen through the gaps. Of course, with any support system, there are going to be people that don't qualify, that miss out, that for various reasons, whether it's an admin issue or whether it is that they are not deemed to require support, etc., etc., people are going to miss out. If you don't have premises, if you don't have employees, and if you're a director of a limited company, pretty much unable to furlough yourself if you want to keep your business actually going during this time, then of course you don't qualify for anything other than loans. So it becomes very, very tricky. I completely understand what you're saying there, and I completely get it. So we are seeing that the self-employed who were taking time off to have children over the last 3 to 4 years have been essentially financially penalized under the self-employed scheme, because the self-employed scheme takes an average of the last 3 years up to the tax year 18-19 to pay out support. If you were off having children for part of the year, then of course you have a problem, because your profits have been less in those years than perhaps they have ever been historically, and the average is being used, which of course means that you get less of a support now, even though perhaps now you are working full time. So that is, it has been identified as an issue with that self-employed scheme. Unfortunately, there is no solution being proposed, but that has been an issue for many people as well. Housing groups in England are lobbying for a funding package for small house builders struggling to access government-backed loans. Scotland, of course, announced that there was a fund for SME house builders last week, and it allows companies to apply for short-term loans up to 1 million, but as yet a similar system does not exist in England. And we're seeing this with a few of these kind of new grants that are coming out, that they're actually different in England, Wales and Scotland as well. So worth checking where you are as to whether there are any additional grants available for you as well, because some local councils are offering certain types of grants, others aren't. As I say, in Scotland, there are 3 or 4 grants that are not available in England. So again, we need to make sure that for your business, wherever you are located, you are checking up on the grants that are specifically available for your business or your sector in your actual local area as well. Let's have a look at the comments and see if we have anything. I'm just laughing because Gary in Texas has just said, I need pancakes. That would, saying that he does, not that I do, but that's quite funny, Gary. I would like some pancakes too, actually. That would be delicious. Bindi TikTok 12, thank you so much for following me. I do appreciate it. Hello, Callum. Thank you for saying hello to me in the comments. I very much appreciate you guys hopping on, and I very much appreciate when you do say hello. It means a lot to me. So thank you so much for doing that. Now let's have a look at the comments here. Barry is saying not spending money on petrol has been the biggest thing he's noticed, even with the fuel prices so low. Petrol, 99p a litre. Thanks, Barry. Thank you for sharing that. So Brit and is saying, do you think businesses are realizing that so much more can be done digitally now? Yeah, absolutely. I think this is going to create a very interesting shift in business. We're already hearing that, some businesses are saying, actually, we don't need offices. Twitter, I believe, said last week, actually, we are not going to require our staff to come into premises once lockdown is finished. We have understood that actually we can operate just as well with a work from home model. So if people want to continue doing that, they are completely open to it. They will reopen their offices, but there's no requirement for people to come to it. Now, of course, Twitter is probably more technologically advanced than some other businesses, but I think many businesses have realized that actually they don't need to spend money on a big office. They don't need to mandate that people come into a physical space, and actually they can be productive, if not in some instances more productive, when people are working from home as well. So yeah, absolutely. I do think that this will change things, and this will change how businesses are operating, Britant. I really do. Bethan is saying, as a digital agency owner, it's really interesting to see bricks and mortar businesses embrace digital. I agree, Bethan, and it's interesting for me too, because I have been running my accounting firm, remotely, digitally, virtually, etc., for the last 10 years. We've never had an office where all the team have come together. We all work remotely, and that is how I've always run my business. But I know many accounting firms have not done that at all, and the traditional model is to have everyone in the same building. And in some instances, the traditional model is also not even to have digital files, to have paper files in the basement. So it's interesting how some areas have managed to adapt and change to this. I do wonder if some others, however, will be desperate to get back because they feel like they are not productive at the moment. But it's been very interesting to see how this is playing out. And I firmly believe that those businesses who are embracing digital now, or who have already embraced digital, are going to be much, much stronger going forward than they would be at all. One of the great things as well is it means you can hire from literally the best talent anywhere in the entire world if you have a fully digital business. You don't just have to look for some good people in your local area. And that's a huge deal for many, many businesses. And so I think it's going to be really interesting when we start looking at businesses' hiring patterns as well. Once we are through this time period, once businesses are starting to rehire, how they go about that, what that looks like, if they are actually starting to, put job specs out with a global view and a global scale on them too. So interesting stuff to watch out for as we go forward as well. Hospitality sector has pleaded for rent holds. In a letter to the business secretary, they are asking for a year-long break from rent. They are saying that commercial property market is effectively broken at the moment, and they are asking for some support with that. So we will wait to see what happens with that and whether anything is announced. Of course, I have spoken before about the rent furlough system that is being discussed. So that is a situation whereby there's discussions around, could there be a system which is similar to some other countries that have introduced this, whereby the tenant would pay a certain percentage of the commercial rent, the landlord would agree a rent reduction for a certain period, and any gap in the middle would be met by government. So this is something that we know is being discussed at the moment, and perhaps will feed into this hospitality sector's plead for rent holds as well. Of course, commercial rent is often paid quarterly, so we are heading straight towards the next quarter's payment. And that is going to be a massive, massive issue for many people with business premises at the moment too. Despite the fact that many did get grants, it's still going to cause a big issue. The Office for Budgetary Responsibility has said the economy is likely to see a slower recovery than they had initially anticipated. Now, the Office for Budgetary Responsibility, the OBR, they are ones who had initially said that they believe there'll be a V-shaped bounce back, etc., etc. The chairman has come out and said that the economy will certainly not be bouncing back. We are in for a longer recession. We are in for a deep recession. We've heard over the last few days as well that the IMF are predicting that too, that we should be expecting 2 to 3 years. We should be expecting a deep and sustained recession that is going to hit most people. And the last thing that I wanted to share today is bounce back loans. Tide has been added as a partner. So if you bank with Tide, what you need to do is register your interest, and then they seem to be releasing the loans in batches to people based on when they registered their interest to, I think, avoid crashing their system. That is what they are doing. So we've now got 17 banks and fintechs offering the bounce back loans. Of course, the bounce back loans are those loans between £2,000 and £50,000 available to businesses for up to a quarter of 25% of their turnover, and they are repayable over 6 years with no interest, fees or repayments during the first 12 months, and are 100% underwritten by the government. So that is a situation for those. There are now 17 banks and fintechs offering that as well. Of course, we know that HSBC and Barclays have come under criticism for not getting these loans out fast enough. The entire point of them was to get money very quickly to businesses that needed them 24 to 48 hours after application. But some of those banks have fallen very short of those deliverables, to the extent that we heard on Thursday or Friday last week that Barclays has offered compensation to its customers who have applied for bounce back loans and not received them yet. So that is the situation with that. Now, let me check the comments and see if we have any questions coming in. Anything that anyone wants me to cover off, I will happily do that. So do let me know if you have any questions and I will answer those. I think that I've probably got all of the TikTok ones. I've got all of the Instagram ones. Let's have a look at Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube. And of course, within the Uncover Wealth community. For those of you that don't know, the Uncover Wealth community is my private community on Facebook. It is a place where I announce any of this stuff first that is important and makes that you need to know about. So please do come and join me within the Uncover Wealth community. Not only that, I do a training every single Tuesday called Training Tuesday in that group. It's completely exclusive training to the Uncover Wealth community. So I would love if you want to join me there, and you can join in that training and see that training as well. There's lots of free resources within there. You just need to go over to Facebook and type the Uncover Wealth community in the search bar, and you can find me there. I will let you in, and you'll be able to enjoy being part of that community as well. Bethan is asking what I am using to stream on multiple platforms at once. Bethan, I often get asked this question. So my setup is that I'm using Restream. Restream I am using to stream to YouTube, Periscope, Twitter, Facebook, my Facebook page, and within the Uncover Wealth community as well. And then I also have 2 phones on the go. So I have this phone here, which is streaming to TikTok, and this one here that is streaming to Instagram. So I have a setup of multiple cameras that is doing that. I've also heard very, very good things about StreamYard as a multi-streaming platform as well, which is one I want to check out because I was interviewed on somebody's StreamYard the other day, and that worked really well. So I'm going to check out that one as well and to compare the two a little bit as well. So Barry is saying, not worried about the recession, been through 2 already. It's about budgeting. Yeah, it is about budgeting, Barry. Absolutely. Just being aware that actually this is likely to be the worst recession in over 300 years. It is going to be, they have said it's going to be worse than any in living memory. So just being aware of that situation as well is important to remember. No problem at all, Roy. I hope you're well. Long time no see. That's a blast from the past name. Thank you for tuning in, Roy. I really, really appreciate it. It's lovely to see your name up there too. So have we got any other questions coming in from any of our platforms? Let me just check. Thank you, Bethan. I appreciate the clapping hands and the praise. I do appreciate that very much. So let's see. I think we have covered off all our questions. So I am back tomorrow at 11 a.m. UK to speak about the various updates that will have happened between now and then as well. I am on all platforms again at 11 a.m. so you can join me there. I would love to have you there as well. So please do tune in, pop it in your diaries. You can set your calendar reminders and all those good things. Now, like I said, tomorrow in the Uncover Wealth community, I have Training Tuesday. That is happening tomorrow afternoon. So do make sure you come in to the Uncover Wealth community before then. I am going to be speaking tomorrow about the best ways to receive money into your business and making sure that you get paid. That is my topic for tomorrow. So thank you again for tuning in. I appreciate your time. I know it is incredibly precious, and I appreciate you spending some of it with me. I will speak to you all again tomorrow. Take care, everyone.